What popular homebrew rule exists that you just don't use? I don't ignore spell components. Do you have a diamond? Oh, you were sneaking around and decided to cast Detect Magic? Yeah, they heard the verbal component. Chance and community chest finds don't go in the middle, and landing on free parking does not mean you win the aforementioned cash. Crit successes outside of combat. I like to make judgments about how well I think someone will be doing, and I want to avoid people trying, I pickpocket the barbarian's great axe. I know I can say, no, stop that, but it's tiring and stupid. The concept that clerics, paladins, druids, and to some extent warlocks shouldn't lose their powers or class features for acting against their source of power. If a cleric, paladin, druid, or in some cases warlock spits in the face of their all-powerful magical sugar daddy, they're going to get their powers stripped until they make up for it, or spend some time to change their class. Drinking a potion as a bonus action. I just can't get behind the idea of being able to chug a drink in less than 2 seconds while also swinging your two-handed greatsword twice. Plus, in pretty much every RPG, you have to make the choice between using an item or attacking. I'd rather keep potions of healing as an action, but buff them by making them heal the maximum amount, which is exactly what I'm doing in my game. Natural 20 means automatic success, and natural 1 means automatic failure on attack rolls only. Saving throws and ability checks succeed or fail on their own merit. I honestly feel the house rule was made popular by accident due to people simply not knowing its attack rolls only. A mistake rather than an intentional departure, but at least initially. Baldur's Gate 3 having that baked in did not help. Now, it's been said a lot here, but yes, drinking a potion should be a full action. But I retain that it needs the use an object action, even if it's said to technically be a magical item. I disagree. Therefore, a thief rogue can use a potion as a bonus action. Such is their realm. No critical fumble tables. Not really a house rule, but more a popular flavor change, but I do not have Hexblade patrons be living weapons, and I certainly don't have the Hexblade's chosen weapon be their patron. The Hexblade patrons are poorly worded, so it leads to this mass misconception. They are supposed to be powerful servants of the Raven Queen, denizens of the Shadowfell, and they often appear to mortals as talking weapons, but not always. Also, the Hexblade's ability lets them choose any weapon that they want every time they wake up to be their special weapon. Hexblades are effectively Shadowfell warlocks or Raven Queen warlocks. Maybe their patron looks like a weapon, maybe it doesn't, but they get to enchant weapons they pick up. A Hexblade shouldn't feel the need to warp their weapon selection around the idea that they're carrying their patron with them everywhere. That's a constraint that was never intended by the subclass. Now, I'm all for reflavoring, but this one is people thinking it's the default flavor and accidentally reflavoring in an attempt to not reflavor. So I feel the need to stress it. That's a lot of flavor. Penalties for getting knocked unconscious always seems like a good idea, but with the way the mechanics of the game works, you will create a death spiral and make PC death extremely common. That can be cool, of course, but it usually isn't as fun as having a PC you've invested a lot into. Hard tracking spell components down to the letter. You want to just whisper your spell? Okay, sure. But I'll remind you that's not how magic works, and you'll look like a dumbass too. To cast, you gotta yell. Baldur's Gate 3 was great about demonstrating how that works. Every spell is yelled in Latin with big, sweeping gestures. No crit fails, no permanent injuries. I do like the concept, but it tends to either A, ruin the fantasy of being cool and competent when you try to throw something really far and end up winging yourself in the head. Just let them fail normally. And B, unfairly bias against those on the front lines. Tanks already don't get much love, and I don't want them standing around with permanent debilitating injuries. because they were just doing their job. Critting skill checks, in my opinion, is stupid. That means you have an equal chance to instantly succeed or fail spectacularly, no matter your modifiers. Now granted, we do have a homebrew that makes 1s and 20s a little more special, but regardless, you don't instantly succeed on either of them. If you roll a 1, but still make the roll due to mods, you succeed, but in a less ideal or expected way. An example would be lockpicking. You manage to pick the lock, but damage it and make noise, alerting guards or enemies. Rolling a 20, but still not beating the DC, fails, but in a positive way. Maybe you're trying to chat up the barmaid, her husband hears you, but instead of getting mad, he laughs and offers you a round of drinks for flattering his wife so nicely. Ignoring weight and size of things. I make sure my players understand that if they don't buy a backpack or pouches, they have no place to carry things. Also, I use the 1/4 rule on weight. Your max weight is 1/4 of your body weight. So you weigh 200 pounds, right? You can carry 50 pounds. Anything more starts giving you negatives. Plus, you can't put 10 warhammers in a backpack. This will limit loot hoarding, which also helps prevent hobo murderers. Yay! Inventory and encumbrance. I work with a UI I made that basically copies MouseQuest with a few minor tweaks. You have 5 slots for armor, helm, breastplate, leggings, gauntlets, boots, a main hand, and scabbard sling slots. Now, each piece of equipment takes up varying slot sizes. For example, a sword takes up a full slot, ropes take half slot, and potions take a quarter slot. You get more slots with bags and satchels equal to your strength modifier, minimum of 1. I hate the idea of switching a weapon being an entire action. It's very stupid and not really logical. So the scabbard sheath offhand allows you to draw as a free action. However, grabbing something from your bag does require a bonus action if it's in a satchel or a full action if it's in a backpack. Players can also buy or make utility belts and bandoliers, which allow them to reload or grab quarter and half-sized items stored in them as a free action. Good idea. I also use tool checks greater than skill checks, so sleight of hand isn't used for picking a lock, etc. I also implement a basic crafting system, which keeps my party broke but not unequipped. And I also use coin weight. You're an ass. Marshals love this because if they're caught and their stuff is taken away, they can hide it in a specially hidden scabbard. Spellcasters can keep a secret component pouch stuffed in their boot. My favorite moment, however, was when the wizard stepped in bat guano and said it was cow dung, was put in a cell, and cast fireball for a flashy escape. I love everything about this. I also have loads of other changes which basically melt the system into my own, which I affectionately call F and G, after the campaign series I've run with those rules. Very fun. A lot of house rules are meant to make the game go faster are the same house rules that make DMs say things like, CR doesn't work, my players are too powerful, etc. My diligence to rules as written makes outside observers look at me like a hard ass, but my players have never complained, because I genuinely think it makes the game more fun. Well, that and I'm not some OSR grognard that wants only combat. We have very meaningful story sessions and players have shed tears before. Now that said, we track ammo, we track encumbrance, we play out overland travel mechanically. We track all currency types and don't abstract everything down to just gold. You're not guaranteed a rest whenever you want. You need to be somewhere safe, or it will be interrupted. XP, not milestone, though I do occasionally reward milestone XP. True scale, 1 inch on the table equals 5 feet, no grid. Potions are an action. I'm not opposed to house rules. There are a few that we use, but I prefer the game as it was meant to be played. There are other RPGs we could play if we want something different, instead of constantly messing with the rules of this one. Now, I'm not sure how popular this one is, but I don't allow whispering your verbal components for spells. Sorcerers get their silent spell meta magic. That's how you cast quietly. All other spells have to be said with the same amount of force as a Kamehameha wave, or similar anime protagonist energy. To be fair, you don't yell the spells. Someone 20 feet away might not hear the spell, but anyone within 10 feet of you not only knows a spell was cast, but they know it was you. Now, I'm clarifying this because even I have to admit, you'd know Goku fired a Kamehameha from at least a mile away. Cell sure did. The same thing applies to somatic components. If you need hand gestures to cast your spell, it's not subtle. You can picture Goku taking the iconic stance for a Kamehameha wave, or Doctor Strange drawing glowing sigils in the air that result in flashy glowing circles. Some spells might be more subtle by design, like charm spells, but if you try to charm one guard while the other watches, there's no way to hide what you're doing. If you want your magic to go unnoticed, either play a sorcerer or set up a distraction that's louder than you are. I don't increase prices for services just to make the party poorer. Want bed and breakfast? Sure, 8 silver. I don't let them buy magic items willy-nilly either. Healing potions, I allow maybe 2 per character unless they pay up front for a larger order. If they want a cloak of elven kind, they have to pay someone who deals in exotic equipment to look for them. And of course, a fancy broker won't deal with murder hobos, so this gets them to interact with the setting in a reasonable manner. My kings and queens are also all level 1 commoners. The king's guard might be CR2 at most. Sure, they can murder hobo the entire guard, the king, and sit on the throne of riches. But then, other powerful groups will hear of this and attack the castle to grab power. The peasants might also revolt if they fail to provide protection. This will turn them into the evil of the land, bringing the attention of true heroes. Now, at most, I like my setting to make sense. Hey everybody, Brian Von VA checking in after the vid. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, ring that bell, and of course, let us know in the comments below what popular homebrew rule do you not use. And if you're feeling frisky and you want to help us out, make sure to join our membership program to get early access to videos, maybe some BTS, and some other outtake type stuff. We love you all. Please be safe, happy, and healthy. We will see you next time. Bye for now.